request of Senator J.V. Ejercito, Mr. President.
Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you. Mr. President, before we take up the reference
would
of
you like
business,
to-
may we proceed to the third reading?
Would you like to
Yes,
approve
Mr.
the
President.
journal first?
Yes, Mr. President, I move that we approve the dispense with the reading of the Journal 58th session, Wednesday, March 18, 2026, and consider the same as approved, Mr. President.
All right, any objection? Chair hears none. The journal's approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the third reading of two measures. I move that, first of all, before we proceed with that, Mr. President, I would just like to say that we electronically distributed these all to all the senators on the 17th of April 2026 and the 29th of April 2026 in compliance with the 3-day rule of the Constitution for both measures. Mr. President.
Thank you. We place that on record.
So I move,
Likewise.
Mr. President, that we approve on third reading Senate Bill number 1981 and ask the Secretary to read the title and proceed with the roll call.
Any objection? Hearing none, the Secretary will read the title of the measure and conduct a roll call vote for third reading.
Senate Bill number 1981, an act establishing the private basic education voucher program and appropriating funds therefor, repealing for the purpose of Public Act number 6728, the government assistance to students and teachers in private education as amended. Roll call of members. Senator Aquino, Sir Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Escudero, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Hontiveros, Senator Lacson, Senator Lapid, Senator Ligarda, Senator Marcoleta, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Tulfo Erwin, Senator Tulfo Rafi, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Camil, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Subiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 22 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, Senate Bill 1981 is approved on third reading.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just let our colleagues know, this is the act establishing the private basic education voucher program. So, to help our students in tertiary education. Mr. President, I move that we approve as well on second reading. This is a very timely and sought after LEDAC measure, Mr. President. This is a LEDAC measure. This is the freedom of information that the good senator from Bicol and our adopted son in Mindanao, Senator Robin Hood Padilla, had passed at second reading. I move that we approve on third reading, Mr. President, Senate Bill number 1432. So,
Any objection? Hearing none, the Secretary will read the title of the measure and conduct a roll call vote for third reading.
Senate Bill number 1432, an act implementing the people's right to information and the constitutional policies of full public disclosure and honesty in the public service and for other purposes. Roll call of members. Senator Aquino, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Escudero, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Hontiveros, Senator Lacson, Senator Lapid, Senator Ligarda, Senator Marcoleta, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Tulfo Erwin, Senator Tulfo Rafi, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Camil, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Subiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 22 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, Senate Bill 1432 is approved on third reading.
thank you very much, Mr. President. Congratulations to all the authors and sponsors. Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the reference of business.
Secretary will proceed with the
Mr.
reference of
Indulgence, Mr. President, of our...
We recognize the Senator.
may I-
Senator Joel Villanueva is recognized.
Yes, Mr. President, may I just be allowed to insert into the records my explanation of vote, Mr. President, especially on the Freedom of Information Act that we have been espousing for quite a long time. And again, we congratulate this institution for working very fast, especially our chairperson, Senator Robin Hood Padilla. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, it's placed on record. Senator Robin Padilla is recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo at sa ating pinunong mayorya. Bilang tagapangulo po ng Committee on Public Information and Mass Media at sponsor po ng panukalang ito, ako po ay buong paninindigang bumoto ng yes sa Senate Bill number 1432 at muli po akong nagpapasalamat sa amin pong idol, Senator Joel Villanueva, na sa matagal na panahon siya po ay nakipaglaban sa bill na ito doon pa lamang po sa malaking kapulungan. At siyempre po, tayo po'y nagpapasalamat kay Senator Mig Subiri at siya po talaga ang gumawa ng lahat upang ito po ay umusad. At ako rin po'y nagpapasalamat sa atin pong Ginoong Pangulo, Senator Vicente Soto III. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. At siyempre po, kay Senador Kiko Pangilinan, Senador J.V. Ejercito, Senador Jinggoy Estrada, Senador Erwin Tulfo, Senador Rafi Tulfo, at Senador Bongo, Senador Mark Villar, Senadora Loren Ligarda, at kay Senadora Risa Hontiveros sa kanilang mga suporta at tulong upang mapabuti ang ating panukala. Mga mahal kong kasama, ito po ang pangalawang pagkakataon na ito po ay umusad dito sa ating kapulungan. Ang una pong pagkakataon ay noong panahon po ni Senator Grace po. At ito po ay hinangaan ng maraming tao sapagkat ito po ay umusad dito sa Senado. Ngunit, nakalulungkot po na hindi po ito umusad sa malaking kapulungan, diyan po sa Kamara. Kaya tayo po ngayon ay humihingi ng pansin, humihingi ng tulong, humihingi ng pakikiisa ng Kamara upang ito po ay pumasa na. Isang bagay po ito na hinihingi ng ating mga kababayan, ang magkaroon po sila ng access, magkaroon po sila ng pagkakataon na makita ang mga bagay na dapat ay nakikita nila, lalo na kapag may kinalaman sa gobyerno. Dahil yan po ang sinasabi ng ating konstitusyon. Yan po ay nasa Article 3, Section 7. The right of the people to information on matters of public concern shall be recognized. Access to official records and to documents and papers pertaining to official acts, transactions, or decisions, as well as to government research data used as basis for policy development, shall be afforded the citizen, subject to such limitations as may be provided by law. Kaya muli po, Ginoong Pangulo, ako po'y humihingi ng tulong sa inyo upang pong masabihan ang ating mga kasama sa Kamara na suportahan po ang panukala na ito. Maraming salamat po.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'd like to now proceed to the prior motion, which is the reference to business.
Reference of business, the Secretary will proceed.
Bills on first reading. Senate Bill number 1993, an act establishing National Strategic Fuel Reserve and the Targeted Fuel Relief Program and providing funds therefore by Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committees on Energy and Finance.
1994, an act protecting private citizens' rights to express their political beliefs and preferences within the sanctity and safety of their homes and private properties, ensuring that the right of private individuals to free speech and expressions is not abridged, amending the purpose of paragraph number 9006, otherwise known as the Fair Election Act by Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committee on Electoral Reforms.
1995, an act providing for a system of earlier voting for qualified senior citizens and persons with disabilities of the Philippines, operating funds for further purposes by Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Electoral Reforms, Social Justice, and Finance.
1996, an act promoting exclusive education, entrepreneurship, and employment for sustainable development among poor-piece adult beneficiaries, made for the purpose of paragraph number 11310, otherwise known as the Pantawid Pamiling Pilong Program by Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Social Justice and Economic Affairs.
1997, an act expanding the benefits of science and technology scholarship grantees of culture, geology, and maturity programs, amending for the purposes Republic Act Number 7687, otherwise known as the Science and Technology Scholarship of 1994 by Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Science and Technology and Finance.
1998, an establishing accredited assistance program for overseas Filipino workers by Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Migrant Workers and Finance.
1999, an expanding the membership of the Social Security Commission to include the Secretary of Migrant Workers, a ex officio member, and to designate a representative of the overseas Filipino workers and seafarers as one of the appointed members representing the workers group, amending for the purpose Section 3 of Republic Act Number 11199, otherwise known as the Local Social Security Act of 2018 by Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Government Corporations and Migrant Workers.
2000, an act defining and protecting the rights of informal settler families through local housing boards, amending for the purpose Republic Number 7279, otherwise known as the Urban Development and Housing Act of 1992 by Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Urban Planning, Local Government and Finance.
2001, an act expanding the prohibit acts of discrimination against women on account of sex, amending for the purpose President Decree Number 442 as amended, otherwise known as the Labor Code of Philippines by Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committees on Labor and Women.
2002, an act establishing a framework for the promotion and development of vibrant bamboo industry in the Philippines, providing for scientific propagation and sustainable utilization, creating the National Bamboo Council of the Philippines, locating funds for and for the purposes by Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Trade, Ways and Means and Finance.
2003, an act strengthening the Commission on Human Rights as a national human rights institution and for other purposes by Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Justice and Finance.
2004, an act strengthening the Basis Conversion Development Authority, amending for the purpose Section 9 Republic Act Number 7227, otherwise on the Basis Conversion Development Act of 1992 as amended by Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Government Corporations and National Defense.
2005, an act increasing the tax threshold for personal income tax, the tax exempt ceiling for the diminished benefits, and amending for the purpose Section 24 and Section 32 of National Internal Revenue Code of 1997 as amended, and for the purposes by Senator Marcos.
Referred to the Committee on Ways and Means.
2006, an act institutionalizing the grant of honorarium, medical assistance, and other benefits to volunteer firefighters and appropriating funds therefore by Senator Villar M.
To the Committees on Public Order and Finance.
2007, an act requiring the mandatory unbundling and disclosure of petroleum prices, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 8479, otherwise known as the Downstream Oil Industry Deregulation Act of 1998, and for the purposes by Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Energy and Ways and Means.
2008, an act creating a special geographic area in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao to be known as the Moro Province, appropriating funds for and for the purposes by Senator Padilla.
Referred to the Committee on Rules.
2009, an act converting the Siquijor State College in the Municipality of Alena, Province of Siquijor, including its extension campus in the Municipality of Lasi, Province of Siquijor, into a state university and appropriating funds therefore by Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Higher Education, Ways and Means and Finance.
2010, an act creating the Philippine Rice Development Authority, defining its powers and functions, providing funds therefore and for other purposes by Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Environment and Finance.
2011, an act amending Public Number 7581 as amended, otherwise known as the Price Act and for other purposes by Senator Aquino.
Referred to the Committee on Trade.
2012, an act providing alternative modes of voting for persons in vulnerable situations to exercise the right of suffrage, amended with the purpose Republic Number 10366, providing for and for the purposes by Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Electoral Reforms, Social Justice and Finance.
2013, an act providing all barangay officials, including barangay tanods, members of the Lupong Tagmamapayapa, barangay health workers, and barangay daycare workers, a lump sum retirement pay equivalent to 1 year honorarium, amending for the purpose Section 393 of Republic Act Number 7160 as amended, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991 by Senator Ejercito.
Referred to the Committee on Local Government.
2014, an act making the position of tourism officer mandatory in the municipal, city, and provincial levels, amending for the purpose of Paragraph Number 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code 1991 by Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Local Government and Tourism.
2015, an act standardizing the retirement benefits of justices, judges, and judiciary officers with judicial rank, salary, and privileges, and providing much therefore, amending for the purpose Republic Number 910 as amended by Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Justice, Civil Service, and Finance.
2016, an act establishing a ban on the presentation of solid waste, providing penalties and for other purposes by Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Environment, Trade, and Finance.
2017, an act providing for free freight services in the transportation of relief goods to calamity-stricken areas by Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Public Services and Ways and Means.
2018, an act creating the Magna Carta for public transportation drivers, promoting for their rights, welfare, and social protection and for other purposes by Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Public Services, Labor, and Finance.
2019, an act allowing the use of digital copy of identity cards in government transactions by Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Science and Technology and Finance.
2020, an act recognizing the existence of national emergency arising from 2026 global oil crisis and adopting a national policy for a whole-of-government response to ensure energy security, food stability, and economic resilience, and authorizing the President for a limited period and subject to restrictions to exercise necessary and proper emergency powers and providing for certain measures and institutional mechanisms that shall continue beyond the emergency and for other purposes by Senator Legarda.
To the Committees on Finance, Energy, and Ways and Means.
2021, an act asserting the social function of land by mandating the utilization of idle and developed plans for food production, aligning national agencies and district representatives for emergency food security and providing total tax exemptions by Senator Padilla.
To the Committees on Agriculture, Ways and Means, and Finance.
2022, an act granting temporary value-added tax exemption on basic commodities and reducing excise tax on petroleum products by 50% for a period of 3 months during a declared national emergency or state of calamity and for other purposes by Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Ways and Means and Energy.
2023, an act amending sections 9, 10, 12, and 15, and 16 of Republic Act Number 10586, otherwise as Anti-Drug and Drug Driving Act of 2013 by Senator Tulfo R.
To the Committees on Public Order and Public Services.
2024, an act expanding derivative Filipino citizenship and providing for the acquisition of Filipino citizenship by the children of former natural-born Filipino citizens by Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Justice and Constitutional Amendments.
2025, an act amending Section 4, Republic Number 9225, otherwise known as the Citizenship Retention and Acquisition Act of 2003 and for other purposes by Senator Marcos.
Referred to the Committee on Justice. There is additional reference. 12 pages. Majority Leader, would you like to continue with you would like to continue with the reference of business? All right. The Secretary will drink water and continue with the additional reference of business. Would you like Attorney Mavic to help you? Go ahead.
Additional reference of business. Messages of the President of the Philippines. Letter of His Excellency President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., dated 23 March 2026, submitting for the Senate's consideration and concurrence the agreement between the Government of the Republic of the Philippines and the Government of Canada concerning the status of visiting forces of each state in the territory of other state, which was signed 02 November 2025 in Makati, Philippines.
Referred to the Committee on Foreign Relations.
Letter of His Excellency President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., dated 13 April 2026, submitting for the Senate's consideration and concurrence the ASEAN Treaty on Extradition. Judges from the House of President Cruz, Roman III, and Tino as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the Screen Provision of House Bill number 4745, titled An Act Institutionalizing the Public Basic Education Schools in Geographically Isolated and Disadvantaged and Conflict-Affected Areas, providing access roads leading to last-mile schools and providing funds therefore, and Senate Bill number 1937, titled An Act Institutionalizing Support for Public Basic Education Schools in Geographically Isolated and Disadvantaged Areas, the designated Representative Romulo, Gatchalian, Fresnedi, Veloso Tuason, and Co. as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the Second Previous House Bill number 5939, titled An Act Allowing the different approaches to be implemented in the basic education curriculum, amending for the purpose Section 5 of Republic number 10533, or the Enhanced Basic Education Act 2013, and Senate Bill number 1899, titled An Act Allowing the Department of Education the flexibility to determine the pedagogical approaches to be implemented in the basic education curriculum, amending for the purpose Section 5 of Republic number 10533, or the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013.
Referred to the Committee on Rules.
Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate on 18 March 2026 it adopted Senate Bill number 1982 as amended to House Bill number 8418, titled An Act Authorizing the President of the Philippines to suspend or reduce. Letter from the House of Representatives informing that the Senate on 18 March 2026 it adopted farming to address food security, poverty, and sustainability in urban areas and for other purposes by Senator Tulfo E.
To the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
2028, an act institutionalizing the Presidential Merit Scholarship Program and appropriating funds therefore by Senator Tulfo E.
To the Committees on Higher Education and Finance.
2029, an act establishing a comprehensive, integrated, and sustainable integration program for overseas Filipino workers by Senator Tulfo E.
To the Committees on Migrant Workers and Finance.
2030, an act amending Act number 4103 as amended, otherwise known as Intermediate Sentence Law, and for other purposes by Senator Padilla.
To the Committee on Justice.
2031, an act promoting the development, modernization, and population of inland and coastal water transportation in the Philippines, including eco-friendly ferry services and for other purposes by Senator Padilla.
To the Committees on Public Services, Ways and Means and Finance.
2032, an act providing relief and recovery interventions to low-income farmers, earners, minimum wage earners, self-earning individuals, and micro, small, and medium enterprises amid the national energy emergency by Senator Villar M.
To the Committees on Finance and Trade.
2033, an act providing for fuel crisis immediate relief and response measures by Senator Go.
To the Committees on Finance and Trade.
2034, an act banning the importation, manufacture, marketing, offering for sale, distribution, and use of disposable vapes, providing penalties therefore and for other purposes by Senator Cayetano P.
To the Committees on Health and Trade.
2035, an act exempting qualified indigent Filipinos from payment of professional examination fees and for other purposes by Senator Tulfo E.
To the Committees on Social Justice and Civil Service.
2036, an act promoting active mobility through the establishment of safe pathways network and development of walkable, bikeable, and suitable communities and for other purposes by Senator Tulfo E.
To the Committees on Sustainable Development Goals, Public Services and Finance.
2037, an act mandating and institutionalizing rollover data allocation scheme and providing penalties therefore by Senator Tulfo E.
Referred to the Committee on Public Services.
2038, an act declaring a one-time amnesty on all unpaid internal revenue taxes imposed by the national government for taxable year 2024 and prior years by Senator Tulfo E.
Referred to the Committee on Ways and Means.
2039, an act providing for automatic refund for internet and telecommunication services, outage and disruptions, and providing penalties for, by Senator Tulfo E.
Referred to the Committee on Public Services.
2040, an act establishing the Philippine Strategic Petroleum Reserve, providing funds for and other purposes, by Senator Tulfo E.
To the Committees on Energy and Finance.
2041, an act institutionalizing a national telemedicine system in the Philippines, by Senator Tulfo E.
To the Committees on Health and Finance.
2042, an act mandating the automatic registration for military instruction of all citizens between the ages of 18 and 25 years, amending for this purpose Republic Number 7077, otherwise known as the Citizen Armed Forces of Philippines Service Act, by Senator Padilla.
Referred to the Committee on National Defense and Security.
2043, an act temporarily suspending or reducing the imposition of value-added tax on petroleum products, amending for the purpose of the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997 as amended, and for
Referred
other
to
purposes,
committee.
by Senator Legarda.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
Resolutions. Resolution number 351. Resolution directing the appropriate Senate committees to conduct an inquiry into legislation on the need to review and amend Republic Number 8479, otherwise known as the Downstream Oil Industry Regulation Act of 1998, to empower the government to regulate oil prices in light of recent global oil price shocks brought about by escalating United States-Israel-Iran conflict within the view of strengthening energy security, enhancing price transparency, and protecting Filipino consumers, by Senator Padilla.
To the Committees on Energy and Trade.
352, resolution urging the Executive Department to exercise the period of clemency during the holy month of Ramadan in the spirit of compassion, mercy, and national unity, by Senator Padilla.
Referred to the Committee on Justice.
353, resolution directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in the realization of the measures taken by the Philippine government to address potential adverse effects of Philippines' participation in regional comprehensive economic partnership, by Senator Marcos.
Referred to the Committee on Foreign Relations.
354, resolution recognizing and honoring the late Senator Jose Wright Diokno as the Philippines' father of the human rights for his exemplary leadership, unwavering integrity, and enduring contributions to the advancement of human rights, social justice, and the rule of law, by Senator Pangilinan.
Referred to the Committee on Rules.
355, resolution congratulating and commending Autumn Jane Durald Arcapao for historic win at Academy Awards for the first Filipina and first woman to win Best Cinematography, by Senator Pangilinan.
To the Committee on Rules.
356, resolution congratulating and commending Filipino gymnast Eldro Yulo for winning the gold medal in men's floor exercise at the Federación Internacional de Artistic Gymnastics World Cup Series at Antalya, Turkey.
To the
By
Committee
Senator
on
Labi.
Rules.
357, resolution directing the Senate Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality to conduct an investigation and implementation of blocks and other online gaming platforms with the end in view of recommending the establishment of mandatory age verification protocols and child safety standards to prevent online sexual abuse, exploitation of children, grooming, violent radicalization, and other emerging digital threats consistent with international best practice and child safety laws, by Senator Tiveros.
Referred to the Committee on Women.
358, resolution strongly urging President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to initiate bilateral talks with the People's Republic of China and Malaysia for purposes of cooperation in oil and gas exploration and development, by Senator Padilla.
To the Committees on Foreign Relations and Energy.
359, resolution urging appropriate government agencies to provide a comprehensive public update on the status of Philippine government's claim over North Borneo, including any diplomatic engagements or negotiations with Malaysia, and ensure transparency and public awareness thereon, taking into consideration national interest security and historical education, by Senator Padilla.
Referred to the Committee on Foreign Relations.
360, resolution congratulating and commending the Gilas Pilipinas women's basketball team for its historic achievement in the winning the silver medal at FIBA 3x3 Asia Cup 2026 and for bringing pride and honor to the country, by Senator Villanueva.
To the Committee on Rules.
361, resolution urging all local government units to conduct an inventory of idle lands within their jurisdiction and develop operate programs for utilization in food security initiatives, by Senator Padilla.
Referred to Committees on Local Government and Agriculture.
362, resolution directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in the investigation in the reported ambush incident in Barangay Madre Poblacion, Sharif Aguac, Maguindanao del Sur, which resulted in the deaths of the inquiry injury of the members of Philippine National Police, by Senator Padilla.
Referred to Committee on Public Order.
363, resolution commending and congratulating Gilas Pilipinas women's team for winning the historic silver medal in the FIBA 3x3 Asia Cup held in Singapore last April 1 to 5, 2026, by Senator Estrada.
To the Committee on Rules.
364, Resolution directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in need of legislation in strengthening public information, transparency, and competition regulation in the downstream oil industry within the view of ensuring fair pricing, preventing anti-competitive practices, and protecting consumers in times of crisis by Senator Padilla.
To the Committees on Energy and Trade.
365, resolution congratulating and commending Patrick Gerald Lee for winning the bronze medal in the men's C5 squash race at the Asian Cycling Confederation Track and Para-Track Cycling Championships by Senator Villanueva.
To the Committee on Rules.
366, resolution urging the government-owned and controlled corporations engaged in lending, particularly the Social Security System, Home Development Mutual Fund, National Home Mortgage Financial Corporation, Energy Emergency by Senator Villar M.
To the Committee on Government Corporations.
367, resolution congratulating and commending Filipino pole vaulter Ernest John of Vienna for winning the gold medal at the 12th Asian Indoor Athletics Championships, cementing his legacy as the only pole vaulter to hold all major Asian titles simultaneously by Senator Cayetano.
To the Committee on Rules.
Committee report. Committee report number 56, submitted jointly with the Committees on Local Government and Environment, Natural Resources, and Climate Change regarding privilege of Senator Erwin T. Tulfo, entitled Alleged LGU Bypass in Dupax del Norte Mining, together with the mention of Senators Ontiveros, Padilla, and Legarda, dated February 2, 2026, recommending for adoption of report and its implementation by Senator Estrada.
To the calendar for ordinary business. Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just for the record as well, before we take up other matters on the agenda, for Senate Bill number 1511, Protection Against Hospital Detention, Senator Pia Cayetano will no longer interpolate and just introduce amendments. And we thank Senator Pia Cayetano for that. And so we'll close the bit of interpolation in a bit, Mr. President. But with that, I move that we take up Senate Bill number 1894 under Committee Report number 31. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, consideration of 1894 is in order.
This is, we are in the period of amendments, Mr. President. The sponsor, Senator Lauren Legarda, is, I believe, is ready for her amendments for the measure. I may we recognize her for that period of amendments.
All right, Senator Lauren Legarda is recognized for the amendments to be proposed, and the copy that we will be using is the clean copy as of the 18th of March, 2026.
Yes,
All right.
thank you, Mr. President.
You may proceed.
Thank you. On page 12, line 28, replace the word create with determine the additional. Still on the same page,
Wait. Page 12, line 28.
replace the word create with the term determine the additional.
And you would like to continue before we approve that?
Yes, and still on the same page,
Go ahead.
line 32, replace the period with a comma, delete the phrase recruitment, selection, and appointment to such positions shall be subject to, up to page 13, line 2, and in lieu thereof, insert the phrase in accordance with DBM and applicable. Therefore, the amended provision shall read as follows. The CHED and TESDA, as implementing agencies under this Act, shall determine the additional plantilla positions as may be necessary to ensure the effective administration and implementation of the programs herein established in accordance with DBM and applicable civil service laws, rules, and regulations. Close parenthesis, period. I submit, Mr. President.
There is no parenthesis. After regulations, period.
Period.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, adopted.
Thank you. That's all, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Let's go, we'll take a break. That's it, Madam? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. President. There are no further amendments on the measure. Move to close the period of amendments.
Any objection? Hearing none, period of amendments closed.
Mr. President, with that, I move to approve on second reading Senate Bill number 1894 and the committee report number 31. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, Senate Bill 1894 is approved on second reading.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I move to suspend consideration of the measure.
Consideration of the measure suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move to take up the other measure for amendments. Senate, I move to consider Senate Bill number 1966 under committee report number 46.
Any objection? Hearing none, consideration of 1966 is in order.
I believe this is also a LEDAC measure. I think the first one was also a LEDAC measure, Mr. President. Both are LEDAC measures, Mr. President. I move that we recognize the sponsor, Senator Erwin Tulfo, for his amendments, Mr. President.
The sponsor, Senator Erwin Tulfo, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, may I introduce my additional individual amendment to Senate Bill number 1966, based on a clean copy as of March 18, 2026. On
Yes.
page 16, lines 19 to 20, delete the sentence, "The IXJCOC shall conduct a hearing every 6 months to review the implementation of this act and identify other necessary legislation." And in lieu thereof, insert the paragraph, "Within 2 years from the effectivity of this act, the IXJCOC shall convene to conduct a comprehensive review of its implementation and, based thereon, recommend appropriate remedial legislation or identify other necessary legislative measures, such as review shall include a systematic evaluation of the impact of this act, the accomplishments of the program, the performance of the implementing agencies, and any inherent deficiencies in the law. Thereafter, the IXJCOC shall convene annually to undertake an update of such review. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, approved and adopted.
That is my additional individual amendment, Mr. President. Thank you.
Majority Leader, there's no more amendments. There are no more amendments.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. With that, there be no other amendments. I move to close the period of amendments on
Any
Senate Bill number
objection?
1966.
Hearing none, period of amendments closed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we approve on second reading Senate Bill number 1966.
Any objection? Hearing none, Senate Bill 1966 is approved on second reading.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I move to suspend consideration of the same.
Consideration of the measure suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I ask for a minute suspension, Mr. President?
Is that the Senate minute or you
Yes,
really
Mr.
want minute?
President, we may have a Senate minute suspension.
All
just
right,
to get
the session is suspended for 1 Senate minute.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Senate Bill 1511's consideration is in order.
This is the protection against hospital detention. We just like to close, since there are no longer any members who wish to interpolate the measure. I move that we close the period of interpolation.
Yes, the parliamentary status was in the period of interpolation,
That's
and
correct,
therefore the motion now is to close. Any objection? Hearing none. Period of interpolation is closed.
Thank you, Mr. President. And we'll just await, we'll suspend consideration of the measure while we're waiting for the amendments from the sponsor, Mr. President.
All right, consideration of the measure is suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we recognize our distinguished colleague from Davao and Isabela and the Republic of the Philippines, Senator Raffy Tulfo, to avail of the privilege hour.
Senator Raffy Tulfo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, today I would like to call everyone's attention again on matters of law enforcement. I may sound like a broken record, but as long as nangyayari yung mga ganitong bagay, hindi po ako mapapagod sa pagkalampag sa ating mga kinaukulan. Last Friday, lumapit sa aking programa si Muhammad Alfad na taga-barangay Sinunok, Zamboanga City. Humihingi po siya ng hustisya dahil sa namatay ang kanyang ama na si Jerry Alfad, ang kanyang kapatid na 12 taon na si Salam Alfad, at kanyang pinsan na si Reynan Alfad. At nasa hospital naman ang dalawang kamag-anak dahil sa isang operation ng AFP at PNP kung saan isang Saddam Siddiq ay ang subject ng isang warrant. I invite you to please watch this short video.
Natutulog na po yung papa ko, yung kapatid ko, yung mama kapatid, yung dalawang sisters ko, at saka yung pinsan ko. Bigla po may putok na narinig. Ang sabi po ng mga pumasok ma'am sa loob, dapa daw po, dapa, labas. Yung pinsan ko po natamaan. Madami po sila ma'am. Mga 20 ganyan yung labas-pasok po. Nilagyan ako ng firewire ma'am sa kamay ko. And then after ilang minutes ma'am, nagpaputok sila ulit ng 3 times. Pagtingin ko dyan, ma'am, may pulis na doon sa labas. Tapos nakita ko na yung pinsan ko, ma'am, nakahandusay na po, wala ng buhay. Tapos yung papa ko din po.
Muhammad, sino daw yung hinahanap nila?
Yung sinasabi nila kasi, ma'am, yung si Saddam Siddiq, yung ano daw, parang MNLF na Abu Sayyaf.
Mr. President, the encounter happened at 1:30 a.m. at the residence of the Alfads. According to survivor Muhammad, natutulog ng ilan sa kanilang pamilya noong panahon na yon na makarinig siya ng tunog na parang umuulan. Yung pala, bala ng umuulan sa kanilang tahanan. Nung lumabas siya ng kwarto, pinadapa siya ng mga operatiba at nakarinig pa siya ng mga barilan kahit nakapasok na sa bahay ang mga operatiba. Nung matapos ang operations, nalaman niya na napatay ang kanyang ama, kapatid at pinsan. Walang pulis na nagpaliwanag sa kanya kung ano ang dahilan ng pagsugod nila. At nalaman niya na lang na sa mga tao sa kanila na may hinuhuli daw na isang Saddam Siddiq ang mga operatiba. Ayon kay Muhammad, walang ganong tao sa kanilang tahanan at hindi niya ito kakilala. Samantala, ayon sa PNP, an exchange of fire broke out when they were about to serve multiple warrant of arrest for murder and frustrated murder on Saddam Siddiq, a member of Abu Sayyaf group. They said the operating team introduced themselves as police and military personnel, but 2 unidentified individuals reportedly opened fire, prompting them to retaliate in self-defense. Ito na naman po tayo. Sa ngalan ng self-defense, namatay ang 3 inosenteng sibilyan. Ang masakit dito, kinumbin pa ng investigators na wala sa lugar si Saddam Siddiq at hindi pa rin ito nahuhuli. Sa ngayon po, 14 na military officials ang makakasuhan ng multiple murder, frustrated murder, criminal negligence at robbery. Talaga namang sukdulan ng kawalang hiyaan na nagawa pa nilang magnakaw. At ang nakapagtaka, bakit puro AFP lang ang kinasuhan? May ginawa bang PNP operatives upang pigilan ang mga karahasan? Hindi lang po itong kaso ang nakarating sa akin kung saan ang ating mga law enforcers ay lumabis sa kanilang mga operations. Paulit-ulit na lang na sumusugod ang mga ito at kakalampagin ang mga nanahimik na mga komunidad. Please watch po this video.
Bigla daw pong may nang raid daw po. Pero tapos na po yung sabong nung araw po na yon. Nagulat na lang po kami. Sinabi po sa amin nung kapatid ko na nabaril daw po yung pinsan ko. Yung non-raid po, mga nakasibilyan po.
Sabi po nila sa akin na may tinatago daw po kaming kriminal. Gusto nilang huliin. Bakit daw po namin pinatakbo sa taas?
Mr. President, there are 5 issues that I would like to raise with regard to our law enforcers. First, the lack of planning. All the victims of mistaken identity and all the collateral damages during law enforcement operations are victims of lack of planning. Dito po sa nangyari sa mga alfad, sabi ng mga operatiba, minaman-manan nila itong si Sidik at napag-alaman nila na nandoon daw ito sa lugar nila alfad. Pero kung alam nila yon, alam din sana nila na may ibang tao doon. At dahil 1:30 a.m., alam din sana nila na iba ang kaba ng mga tao kapag may susugod sa bahay nila na madaling araw. Baka kaya may nangyaring barilan. The time and surrounding circumstances should have been taken into consideration. Who are the people present during the operations? Is it a dense community where people could be affected by the operations? They should also protect the community. Hindi yung gagawin ng lahat basta matugis lang itong isang tao. Hindi yung baril na lang ng baril. This is what happened in a of engagement. I invite you to please watch the video. In this case, maliwanag na itong inyong subject tumatakas at kita doon sa video na hindi nakikipagbarilan and yet binaril siya ng malayuan. So hindi po nasunod dito yung tinatawag na rules of engagement. Ang nangyari, nagpapanik kayo sa halip na in-neutralize nyo sa paggamit. Dapat may taser, may pepper spray, may batuta. Yung baril, last recourse yun. Ang nangyari kasi sa ating kapulisan, kunting mali lang, medyo papalag na yung suspect, binabaril na. Mr. President, according to the revised PNP Operational Procedures Manual, no violence or unnecessary force shall be used in making an arrest, and the person to be arrested should not be subjected to any restraint greater than what is necessary under the circumstances. And that is why it is mandated that police officers should carry accessories appropriate to the police operation being performed, including but not limited to ballistic vest, handcuff, whistle, baton, truncheon, pepper spray, tasers, and nightstick to be used in a non-armed confrontation with a violent, uncooperative, and unruly offender. Our law enforcers should also be trained to determine what is necessary and reasonable, taking into consideration the number of aggressors, nature and characteristics of the weapon used, physical condition, size, and other circumstances to include the place and occasion of the assault. Issue number 3. Aggression during police operations stem from lack of information on the part of the subject of the arrest. Nakailang kaso na po sa aking programa na pumalag sa mga kapulisan ang subject dahil hindi naka-uniforme ang pulis, walang dalang warrant, at walang paliwanag sa subject. Kaya naman, pumapalag ang mga tao dahil hindi nila alam kung sino ang sumusugod sa kanilang tahanan at kung bakit at kung ano na po ang nangyayari. Tapos, kunting palag lang, barilan na agad. And that is why we push for the passing of the bill on body-worn camera for law enforcers. Salamat kay Senator J.V. Ejercito at sa Committee on Public Order at pagpursige din niyang ipinasa ito ngayong Kongreso. Another problem that I have encountered is the data system ng PNP kasama ng e-warrant system. In a number of cases in my program, innocent individuals have been arrested on mistaken identity dahil mali ang pangalan sa warrant o di kaya hindi pala updated ang e-warrant system at inaaresto ulit ang subject sa parehong warrant. Ito po ang nangyari. Please watch the video.
Si Kuya Tutoy daw po. Wala po, hindi po dito napunta.
Yung pong warang po yun, matagal na po yun. Nangulong na nga po ako dyan, 4 na buwan po.
So, ibig sabihin, yung mga pulis, walang kopya nito.
Wala po.
Nung kumukuha po ako ng police clearance, mayroon daw akong hit. Tapos nagkaroon ng mugshots. Pinaulit-ulit nilang tinatanong sa akin na kung ako ba daw yung taong yun. Sabi ko, hindi ho talaga, sir. Hindi po talaga ako nakasasangkot sa anumang kaso o
Matindi to.
pakikipag-away.
For 8 days nakulong si Sir. Ang huling issue ko po ay ang pagpapatibay ng konsepto ng command responsibility. Sa mga ganitong klaseng insidente, ang kadalasan na napaparusahan ay ang mga mabababang opisyal na sumunod lamang sa utos ng mga superior nila. Pero Mr. President, in all planned police operations, the team leader of the operating team is required to secure a pre-operation clearance prior to the conduct of operation. This clearance must be approved by the chief, commander, or head of the office or unit and must be submitted at the operation section for record purposes. And when it comes to PNP-AFP joint operations, the PNP shall take the lead role in the conduct of sustained law enforcement operations against terrorist groups and other threats to national security, including the service of warrants of arrest. PNP pa rin dapat ang lead role. Pero bakit dito sa kaso ng Alfad, puro AFP lang ang kinasuhan? Dahil ba PNP ang nag-imbestiga? Di ba dapat command responsibility? If the leaders are not held accountable, we cannot expect real change to happen in our law enforcement agencies. Mr. President, laws are created to provide peace and order in a society, and we create law enforcement agencies such as our PNP, as well as the AFP, for national security purposes and to ensure that these laws are obeyed. But what happens when these law enforcers create fear and not sense of peace? I think there's something wrong. And we have to do something. If not, we consider ourselves as accomplices. Thank you, Mr. President. My dear colleagues, good afternoon to all.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We appreciate the speech of our distinguished colleague, Senator Raffy Tulfo. Yes, may we just recognize Senator Risa Ontiveros for her manifestation, so manifest
Senator Risa
on
Ontiveros
this measure,
recognized.
on this particular issue.
Salamat po, Mr. President, at salamat po sa good gentleman mula sa Isabela para sa kanilang privilege speech at pati po dun sa paggunita sa alaala ni Jemboy Baltasar na tinalakay din po ng Senado sa isang inquiry o investigasyon kung saan bukod dun sa lack of planning na factor na binanggit ng good gentleman ngayon, ay tinalakay sa investigasyong iyon tungkol kay Jemboy yung usapin ng kumilos ba ang PNP doon ng masyadong malakas o batay po sa maling impormasyon. So muli nagpapasalamat ako sa good gentleman, una dun sa pag-alala, paggunita dun sa alaala ng isa pang kabataang Filipino, si Jemboy Baltazar, at pangalawa, dun sa patuloy na pagbibigay ng halaga sa patuloy na pag-professionalize ng ating pambansang kapulisan sa ganitong mga usapin ng law enforcement nang may pantay na pag-iingat po sa buhay at kaligtasan ng ating mga kababayan. So muli po, salamat at mabuhay sa good gentleman. Salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Risa. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we refer the privileged speech of our distinguished colleague to the Committee on Public Order and Security and Dangerous Drugs.
Hearing no objection, the privileged speech is referred, yes, to the Committee on Public Order.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, we can move for that 1 minute session, Senate minute,
All right.
with the permission of everyone.
Session suspended for 1 Senate minute.
Thank you, Mr.